free mind. You crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is Comics Today, and it is specifically our 99th episode of Comics Today, a show that we do on Wednesday, which happens to also be the best day of the week because it is New Comic Book Day, and this is our way of coming together to celebrate as a comic book community. And in a moment, I'm going to go to the chat to see what it is that you all may have picked up if you were able to hit your LCS. As part of this show, we typically have a guest or two that will come on to help me to make sense of something that is happening in the world of comics and collectibles. And this show is like many of the others in that we will have a guest or two on that will talk with me about a few different things that are on my mind that have been in the news. And as a reminder, if you like podcasts, you definitely want to check out the show on the podcast, and we are available on all the various podcasting platforms that are out there. This show is typically rebroadcast the upcoming Monday after the Wednesday. That coming Monday is when it is released. My brother takes care of that for me. So if you are a podcast type of person, a person that's on the road, maybe you have a long commute, whatever it happens to be, you go for a run, you do yard work, take some Reggie on the go with you. All right. With that said, I do want to go to the chat real quick. So if you are here in the live stream right now and you made it out to your LCS and you picked something up and you read it and it was good, I want to know what it is that you may have read that you picked up. And if you just picked up a bunch of books, what books did you pick up? That is what I want to hear and see in the chat. I'm kind of looking at some of the comments right now. Fight the Good Fight. He says he picked up the Miles Morales #1, Breeze comic exclusive, Daredevil 4, the 1 in 100, Luke Cage, Virgin, and a few other books, including Planet Hulk. That's what's up. Fight the Good Fight. That's what's up. I never leave home without my Trev, I don't quite know what to do with that, Trev. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to do with that, but it is funny, brother. It is good to see you in here. You all may have noticed that the back wall has changed. I decided to celebrate DC. Decided to throw my man Chris Bigger a bone and a few other DC lovers a bone and do a DC wall. There's a couple of books up there that do not get a chance to see the light of day all that often. So I wanted to make sure that I threw that out there. Frog Boy needs to paint detect. Man, there you go. That's what's up. I don't even know if I can afford Frog Boy at this point, brother. I don't know what his prices are. I also know that the weight is not necessarily a short weight, but quality oftentimes does take time. Turbo Man Tom, how you doing, brother? Picked up Punisher 8, Miles 1, Mondo 1 variant. That's what's up. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here. Just picked up the first mini series of Cloak and Dagger. Oh, that's classic, Victor. That's some classic stuff right there, man. Some old school Cloak and Dagger. I'm literally picturing the bin in the 100K collection that has the Cloak and Dagger books in it. Like I can picture that bin on the shelf downstairs right now. I enjoy some Cloak and Dagger. Dave picked up a couple of things. Superman. What is that? The trade paperback volume 2. That's what's up. Trev also picked up. Did I go through that? No. Batman Miles Morales 1, Dark Web, among others. Scrolling through. This is the question at hand. Has anybody picked up a book that has the Stan Lee tribute page in it? This has been a topic of discussion. It popped into my head. I think it was last week where it occurred to me that I had not seen anything about Marvel celebrating Stan Lee's 100th birthday on, I believe, December 28th. I recorded a video, a quick short thing. I released it. Had not seen, heard anything until today. Until today, Mark sent me something. Mark Andrews, who is not here right now, he is making a trip somewhere up there in Canada. He sent me a message early this morning, basically letting me know that there is supposed to be a Stan Lee tribute page in Marvel Comics being released today. And this is actually what it looks like. For those that did not see what I released earlier today, 100 years and still inspiring us all. We love you, Stan, is the page. I think Humberto Ramos actually did this. Fantastic Spider-Man artist. This is Stan Lee, surrounded by many of the characters that he helped to create and certainly promoted. But this is supposed to be in books releasing today. I don't have an LCS, so I didn't go to an LCS. I am curious if anybody has actually seen this thing. Has anybody actually seen this book out there or seen this page in a book that they picked up? That is the question of the day. Mr. E, how you doing, brother? Picked up Punisher. What is that? Spider-Man, 3 Spider-Man titles and a few back issues of Pit. Ooh, talk dirty to me with the Pit. That's what's up. Good stuff. Scrolling through, Danny, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Welcome. Kevin said he picked up Miles, DD, and also Thor. Scrolling through some of the comments here. What's up, Reg? I went deep into volume 5 of the Eternals run. Just completed the run up to date. That's what's up. Congrats, William, on that. Again, it doesn't have to be a new book, but it could be a new to you book that you picked up, and we definitely want to celebrate that as well. Scrolling through, Seth said, waiting to pick up Isolation 2. Brother, you and me both. I am waiting for the printer to give me the go-ahead that they have put the stuff in the mail for me to get it, so fingers crossed that happens soon. Scrolling through some of the comments, I went to my LCS Saturday. Among my pulls, I got X-Men 80. Congrats on that. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Philtastic, how you doing, brother? Hope the family is well. Got a couple of gems from his Anaconda Comics charity box. That's what's up. I butchered the name. One day I will be able to say Joe's screen name properly. Anthony, how you doing, brother? Star Wars, Hidden Empire, Batman and the Joker, Daredevil, Hexware, Spawn, Quested, Predator 5, the Mighty Thor 29. Your LCS loves you, sir. Your LCS love you. JLS, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Scrolling through. I decided to hook you guys up, man. Thought I would celebrate some DC stuff. I think there's at least a couple of DC books up there that I don't think have ever been on the wall, like that Vigilante up there. That was a gift from somebody. I purchased something from a shop on Instagram, and they sent me that book for free. I don't know if the Forever People and the New Gods books have been up there before. That is, I think, the only PGX slab that I have in the entire collection. So there's a couple of books that have not been up on the wall before that I wanted to dust off and celebrate just a little. Scrolling through. I have not read anything from today, but I really hope I have one of those tribute pages. A lot of people, well, not a lot, a couple of people commented and sent me messages saying that they wished that Stan Lee tribute page was actually a cover. But alas, I don't think that it is a cover, but we now have confirmation. There we go. Liger Style is on the board. He says that he has seen it. The ad, the tribute page for Stan Lee is now confirmed to be in the Miles Morales issue number 1, the rebooted Miles Morales title with a brand new creative team. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Told you. Well, here's the thing, brother. The thing is, you expect companies to make noise about things that they do, right? And the 100th birthday of one of the publishers, one of the pioneers of what we do with superheroes, if you will, you kind of expected them to make some noise. I haven't heard any noise. The article that Mark actually sent me regarding this tribute page was on Bleeding Cool. And I'm not a huge fan of Bleeding Cool. I'll be completely honest with you. So I was a little surprised that it was posted there and not posted up with Marvel in some way, shape, or form. And maybe now it is, maybe it's up somewhere. But again, we first heard about it early this morning from Bleeding Cool. So Stan Lee was such a giant figure in so many of our lives. His imagination inspires so many of us. Well said, brother. I mean, I can still sometimes even hear his voice, you know, when you're reading, because I read a lot of older comics. When you're reading older Spider-Man books and stuff like that, you can sometimes still hear Stan's voice in your head, you know? I did pick up a book with a tribute to Stan Lee, ripped it out, framed it. Not saying what book. That book has given of himself. That book has given it up for Stan Lee. It is what it is. Let me see. I'm scrolling through some of the comments. Well done, brother. Let me see. I'm scrolling. Congrats. Oh, thank you, Danny. I definitely appreciate that. It's good to see you. Danny says congratulations on the awards. Headed to the Suns choir concert, but thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. Danny was one of the channels out there that was nominated that we recognized. I think it was on the last live show that we did. We actually went through all of the channels that have been nominated, kind of scrolled through, and Danny's name jumped out of me, of course, because she's been on the show. Fantastic person, fantastic channel. And so thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate it. Scrolling through mail call. Iron Cat #2 versus Predator variant 9.8 signed and remarked by Mayhew. Congrats on that, Danger. Congrats. Again, doesn't have to be a new comic, but it could be new to you. Where is Matt Woods? Where is Matt Woods? Conan 23 is up on the board. There you go. Joe, how you doing, brother? Picked up Wonder Man 45 for myself as a birthday present. Happy birthday, early birthday to you, Joe. Scrolling through some of the comments here. DC DC wall, but still, hey, you gotta balance it, brother. You gotta, I mean, at least I put some cosmic stuff around it, right? A little New Gods cosmic stuff. It ties in the Green Lantern down there. It's cosmic, right? It all works. I need to change that out. I was too lazy to do the rest of it. Scrolling through some of the comments here. DC indeed got on the board back in September, made some noise happen. And Seth said, I'll pick up the Bible today. Does that, brother? Hey, every day, it absolutely counts in so many ways, my friend. Well done. Scrolling through, Danny says, I didn't pick up my new comics, but I purchased a small lot of comics, including ASM 65, some ASM issues by Todd McFarlane. Congrats on that. That's what's up, man. Scrolling through. Congrats on that. I'm scrolling through the comments here. I also hear Stan Lee's voice when I read the old. It's impossible not to, man. It really is. You know, that's one of the things that to some degree or another is kind of missing from comics. Well, there's a couple of things. There is the editor inserting him or herself into the story. I still like that. I think the inner dialogue that happens inside the head of the character, I don't know that we see that. Text on covers, we don't see that anymore. And to me, those are all those nostalgic things that I enjoy, right? I enjoy all of those things, but for some reason or another, we've moved away from that. We've moved away from bubbles and stuff like that on covers to just making pretty art, which is fine, right? The inner dialogue that we used to be able to read, like what they said verbally, but also what they were thinking. I don't know that we see that in comics anymore. It's mostly all dialogue or narration, and the narration tends to be very generic, and it doesn't really have that tone that you would get from Stan Lee or some of the other editors back in the day where they were having fun. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little different now, but still good stuff. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Scrolling. Also, shout out to you, brother. I sent you an email earlier today with your code for the Shortboxed giveaway for the month of November. The Shortbox giveaway for the month of December is available to you guys. If you check out the video that I released on Spider-Man villains back on Monday, watch the video for a chance to get a $100 credit from the folks at Shortboxed. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Let me see. I think I'm all caught up. I'm all caught up. Again, we have some confirmation now that Stan Lee's tribute page is at least out there, at least in the Miles Morales issue #1. We will see whether it is widespread in all comics or whether it is just sporadically placed. Definitely be interesting to see how wide they went with the insertion. So to Danny's point a few moments ago, we did manage to win, I think it's 6 of 7 comic book community awards. And the channel over the last 2 years of the existence of the awards has pulled in 10 total awards, which is a lot of recognition. It really is a lot of recognition and very humbling in a lot of different ways. And we spoke about that at length on the last show. So I wanted to again say thank you to everybody that was nominated, everybody that nominated me, everybody that voted for me. I absolutely appreciate it. But now that we, to some degree or another, are in the moment of celebrating, the fact that people won these awards, I saw something earlier today that caught me off guard. It caught me off guard just a little bit. And I wanted to invite someone on the show that could talk with me a little bit about what I saw and confirm that I saw what I think that I saw, or else maybe I just needed to, have some more coffee when I saw it earlier this morning. But I want to welcome to the show, Brian, the guy that is behind the Comic Book Community Awards. Brian, it is good to see you.
Reggie, thanks for having me on. I went ahead and pre-punched my card. So Master Blaster, thank you for this. But third appearance, but I'm not sure if I get a comic book out of the 100K collection, but I'm hoping I get to 10.
Let's be clear. You get nothing from me because I'm not involved. Okay. That's between you and Master Blaster. It's not Reggie. It might be my face on there, but I did not create it. I didn't know you had one of those. That's cool.
Yeah, Master was kind enough to send one after my last appearance. So
he hooked it up. Well done. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
so
good to see you. We missed you on the awards,
man.
But I understand you were with family. Family
Reggie
first,
has been on the struggle bus a little bit, brother. Between like work and family and the channel, I needed to step away, and I'm getting myself back there, but I'm still keeping the guardrails up because the waters are deep. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
The waters are deep. But I was on Instagram earlier today, and I think that I saw something where you guys were talking about the 2023 awards already. Did I see that, or was that correct?
No, that was correct. Yeah, I laid out the schedule on an Instagram post for next year.
Okay.
So basically, the award show is going to be the first December in every year, the first Saturday in December. And so from there, I just worked backwards on the timing of the nominations and the finalist voting. So I actually had a lot of people reach out to me after the award saying, "How do I get my channel involved?" Or how can I get my channel nominated? So I put that out so that people could see it's, we're not going to kick things off for next year until May, so that, it can kind of set expectations with the community.
Yeah, because that was my big question. It's like, hey, we're still celebrating. My awards haven't even come yet. And now you're talking about 2023. So I wanted to understand like the why behind it. Right. And it sounds like that post was prompted by reactions from people that are like, hey, I see you're doing some good stuff. I want to be involved. How can I be involved? Is that fair for me to say?
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, I did, I probably had, 7 or 8 people reach out asking about, well, how do we get involved? We weren't aware of it this year. So, that was really the reason, that I put that out there, just to, like I said, really to set expectations, so that people, knew, all right, we're in a little bit of a cool down period, celebrate this year's winners, and then, we'll ramp back up, in May.
So you guys in the first year, you made magic happen, right? You pulled it together, you pulled it off. It was well done. There were a lot of learnings from year one that you then applied to year two and made year two even better, right? You expanded the number of categories. You added a committee to help you to go through different things and to make decisions. Were there any big learnings from this year that you want to apply for year three that you can share with us now? Are there any big epiphanies or big initiatives or thoughts?
I think the tiers that we added, so we added the same award category in different subscriber tiers. I think that was a big success, and so that was a step in the right direction. So I think we're going to look to maybe expand that next year, maybe add a category to those tiers, because I think there's a little frustration with some of the award categories where you have a big channel up against a small channel. And when I say that, it's based on subscriber numbers. People feel if you do the math, if somebody has a lot less subscribers, they have a lot less engagement, and so a lot less potential votes.
Yeah.
So there's a little David and Goliath feeling in some of those categories. And I don't think there's really any good way to avoid that. I mean, if I were to break out every category in a tier, we'd have 69 awards. So I don't ever want to go that far. It's not really a participation trophy.
Yeah.
We do want to have some competition. So I think the max we'll ever go is 25 award categories. So we're only 3 away. But I think we're going to tweak some things to try to, like I said, I think expand the tier categories and maybe make a 1 or 2 other categories just very general, not specific to whether you run a series like your Wednesday show here or your Sunday show, or just make it more generic. That's the best hands, hair, mustache, beard category was just a fun category, and anybody could get nominated. So we want to try to duplicate that magic in other categories.
Best bald head. I'm just throw it out there for consideration. I mean, we're in the discussion phase here. No, but I really do like what you are attempting to do. And I say that not just because I won awards, but it takes a lot to have an idea and to bring that idea to life, and then to solicit feedback and to receive unsolicited feedback and to grow from that and to make it better and to just keep it going. It takes a lot of effort. None of this stuff is easy. Let's be completely honest about that. Regardless of the size of your channel, creating content is not easy, and creating an awards show based upon Instagram, YouTube content creators is not also easy. So, thank you for all of your hard work that went into this. I think you guys are doing some amazing work. And I look forward to seeing what you guys introduce next year. Before I let you go, Brian, any additional thoughts that you want to share about the awards? Anybody you want to recognize or call attention to that has helped you tremendously over this last year or so?
Well, I think the entire committee, right? They really helped shape the awards. Added some kind of ground rules. To some of the, one of the things I didn't think of year one was, well, what if we have a tie? And so we put some metrics around, well, what if we have a tie? We haven't had a tie, but it's good. You never know. So just things like that. So the committee was incredibly helpful, and just really the community. I want to thank everybody who took the time to nominate a channel, to vote, who helped. There were a number of community members that donated money to help fund the trophies. And so, just all of that support is, a big thank you to everybody who, helped. And, I think we'll continue. The committee will add new committee members every year, so we get different, points of view. And, I'm hopeful this year that other channels, like your channel, Comics with Bueller, but, some of the other bigger channels that have been nominated now for 2 years, maybe, we'll start talking about the awards. And maybe that's the in between, right? Between we've wrapped up now and we've got, 5 months before the awards kick off for next year, that maybe some of the other channels will help spread the word about it. Because that, it's really just word of mouth and trying to grow it as far as the community knowing about it. So that's really my goal in the next couple of months, is hopefully to get, some bigger channels, and then try to bring in some sponsors as well, to help, fund some things or donate some prizes and things like that. So that's
I can tell you for a fact that that's one of the things that I know some other channels struggle with, and I, to some degree or another, struggle with it in year one and in year two, is when you make noise about it, it's almost like you're doing it for the purpose of promoting yourself. And then it truly does become the David versus Goliath thing. So I've spoken with some YouTubers that have channels larger than mine, and that's been one of their concerns is if I promote it, then more than likely I'm going to win because my subscriber base is bigger. So I get that. But I think what you just hit on is important, is in this downtime, raise the noise now, because you're raising the profile and it's not for a self-serving purpose at that point. And I think that's a wonderful
That's
point.
what I'm hoping, that, because I understand that fine line, right? You don't want to, because, if a bigger channel, like you said, was to really hype it up or say, hey, go vote for me. They could drive a lot of votes and really, have an effect. And so I think that in between period between, last year's and this and the upcoming year, if we could get some people to at least just let their audience be aware that it's out there. And then, we'll leave it up to the audience to go find it when it kicks off again next year.
Well, the good thing is I issued a press release. So, maybe I'm doing my part to spread the word.
I saw that. Yes.
But it was a little self-serving because it was about me, but I did mention
when you win six out of 7, this year and 10 in total. Yeah. You might want to,
might want to toot your own horn. I'll put your name in it and everything, but it was me recognizing again that this is special. This is important. Recognition from the community of something that we're doing. It's important. And it's like, I wanted to raise the flag, which is why we put the press release together. So shout out to Doug for writing that for me. So
yes, I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said, any press helps. So
absolutely. Brian, it's good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming on. Good luck in 2023. And if we can be of assistance, let me know for certain. Take care.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
All right. All right, there we go. So I probably should have asked him where my trophies were. No, joking. He put the trophies in the mail the other day. My expectation is that they are going to show up in the next few days. And when they do, I will be sharing them on the Instagram machine and also in the Discord server as well. So let me look at the chat real quick to see what you guys are talking about. Let me see if there's anything unusual. I'm scrolling through. How about Victor says, how about an award to the best YouTube viewers? I nominate Tina. She's always on. Brother, if there is ever an award for Blue Wrenches, for best community member, it would be Tina. Let's be completely honest. I think Tina's a blue wrench for a couple of channels. Tina is core to the comic book community. There is no doubt about that. And I know Brian is still watching. So I think I may have saw his head nod there when I mentioned that. I cannot take credit for that, Brian. I did not come up with that idea. I assume that it's Victor. But it's a solid comment, man. Again, it's about spreading the love to as many people as possible. And that's not a bad way to do it, brother, to be honest with you. Victor, well done, brother. All right, let me go ahead and transition on to talk about the next topic at hand, which is the thumbnail. It is the thumbnail that I wanted to put up. Several people sent me information on this fact that Black Adam may be considered a failure. There's it's out there. It was rumored before, and I definitely did not want to endorse that before all the facts came out. There was a lot of facts that we did not know. There was a lot of missing information as to how much money the movie had raised and also how much money had actually been spent on marketing. And we now have some clarity around some of those things. So here you go. Black Adam's theatrical run may lose Warner Brothers up to $100 million. And in fact, I did the math. Right now, I think it's close to $112 million when you start to do some of the math here. And it's probably more than that, just the math that we know, right? Black Adam is poised to lose millions for Warner Brothers because they could lose more, right? I mean, they've lost a lot of money already. Nearly 7 weeks into its theatrical run, the Rock-led superhero film has made around $387 million worldwide on a $195 million budget. They also spent an additional $80 million, according to Variety, on marketing, which is less than what they had anticipated to spend. But all told, they have spent a significant amount of money on this movie. and they are definitely in the hole. If you do the simple math, around $112 million. Now, what's really interesting, the big unknown is those numbers don't account for the cut that movie theaters take from ticket sales, which can be as much as half. I did not anticipate that number being that large. I would like to see how they get, because that's a big range. Up to half is a big range. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to see like what's the low end of the spectrum and what's the bell curve look like, right? So, but again, up to half is a significant amount of money. The article here that I found on CBR.com says, all told, Black Adam may have an uphill battle ahead of it just to break even. By comparison, Black Panther Wakanda Forever concluded its fourth week after taking in more than $732 million. And the big question at hand for them is, will they break $1 billion? Like, that is the big question. They're at 732 million. Last number I saw was 550 million. So they are headed down that path, and it's going to be very interesting to see if they break that $1 billion ceiling. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson dismissed all notions of a comparison between the two films. Yes, they both say black and have black people in them, but he's like, hey, we need more time. Our characters that are in this movie are lesser known, and they need more time to garner favor with audiences. No need to knock us. We're new babies and have to grow, is basically what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said. But the article points out that the movie Black Adam failed to garner critical acclaim. We spoke at length about this, how just the critic feedback from Rotten Tomatoes has not been very positive. I think the audience scores were definitely better than the critic scores, but the critics basically did not like this movie in any way, shape, or form. But it's tough. It is a really tough place for this movie, and there's a lot of uncertainty as to what the future actually holds for this movie. Will they get an opportunity to do it again? Will they get spinoff movies, which is something that's been discussed, whether Hawkman was going to get a spinoff movie? Those are some of the things that are being discussed. And I'll be completely honest with you, I don't know the answers. I don't know the answers to any of these questions. I don't know whether they're going to give The Rock a chance at doing this movie again. Again, when you look at some of the numbers are not very favorable. So are they going to give him a second shot on goal? Are they going to give other characters from the movie a shot on goal? Who knows? Who knows? But because this is all about having people on to help me to understand some of the things that are happening out there, because I am not an expert, I decided to invite a Black Adam expert to the show. Dave, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you.
I'm right. It's good to see you too, Reggie.
So I know that you're not a Black Adam expert, but you are a fan of Black Adam. You've seen the movie a couple of times.
Right.
Dave, what do you make of what I just went through? Like, where is your head as to what may happen with Black Adam?
Yeah. I saw your card, Black Adam failed. And I'd been reading the same articles as you. I think I sent you one or two. And I saw another one today. So ultimately, it depends who you ask.
Okay.
Variety detailed up to $100 million in losses. Just a couple hours ago, Deadline released an article saying that Black Adam's actually most likely going to turn a $52 to $72 million profit when you consider everything, like the TV stuff, the Blu-ray, all that stuff. Yep. So it's pretty obvious it wasn't a big hit. It's under $400 million. Now, it hurt that it didn't have the market in China.
Yes.
That didn't help because Dwayne Johnson is big over there. I think Hobbs and Shaw made $201 million. So that hurt. They had no way of knowing that would be the case when they were, greenlighting this film.
So you said a lot in there, and I want to piggyback on some of this stuff, because one of the things that I found is that Dwayne, his movies have brought in $3.5 billion in North America. Mm-hmm. But when you look internationally, he's brought in $12.5 million. He's a big international star.
He is.
But the truth of the matter is that a lot of American movies do really well overseas.
Yes.
And there is a lot of money to be made overseas. And the fact that we have a war in Ukraine, we have China not doing movies, we have Russia not doing movies, those things impact the box office. And so is the movie a failure, or is the movie a victim of circumstances? Plus, it just didn't do as well as we wanted it to do, right?
Yeah, I think it's all of those things in that it was a victim of some circumstances. Ultimately, I mean, look, I saw the movie twice. The
Yeah.
first time I saw it, I'm like, it's okay.
Yep.
The second time I saw it, I'm like, that's actually pretty good. It's solid. I wanted a great film. I don't think we got that. I think there were a lot of great moments in it. It had some things I really liked and appreciated. But I walked away thinking, and I'm gonna tip my cap to Anachronic, Joe Travato. His point is always, if you're gonna have a lot of superheroes in a movie, it needs to be a long movie. You know, this movie was a little over 2 hours, and I walked out that second time going, man, if it had been 20 minutes longer and it had a little bit more characterization and let the plot breathe a little bit more, that'd have been a really good movie. And you know what? If it'd been really good, the critics would have liked it more. That would have been reflected in the Rotten Tomatoes score, you know. And you know, I think sometimes fans say, well, you know, who cares what critics think? Turns out a lot of people do, you know.
Imagine that.
What are the odds? I mean, the casual fan who doesn't know much about Black Adam, because as The Rock pointed out, like, Black Adam, I think, is headlined up before that movie. I think a 6-issue miniseries and a couple specials. He was always a character in someone else's comics. He wasn't the headliner.
Yeah.
So he was a relatively unknown character in some ways. You know, I was in one of the biggest comics stores in New Jersey, and I remember asking the owner, I said, hey, how are your Black Adam comics? How's that new maxi series selling? He's like, I'm like, how come? He's like, they don't know who he is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a piece of it.
Yep.
Ultimately, I think if it'd been a better movie, not that it was bad, but if it'd been better, the critics like it. People listen to the critics. They're like, well, okay, now I'm going to go plop my $15 down to see it.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
So
a lot of things.
You hit on something really interesting, and thank you for doing a little bit of research, because I always find that to be helpful. $52 to $72 million profit all in. So that's the Blu-rays, the DVDs. Was that also streaming? What all did they factor into that?
It included like and it broke it down. It's on Deadline. Let's see. And they subtracted, you know, the theater's take. But they got into domestic home entertainment and streaming, international home entertainment, domestic free TV, domestic pay TV, international TV. So they broke it down. And based on their math, again, you've got different people saying different things. It's going to make some money, which, you know, that's a good thing if you want to continue, because that was one of your questions. Where do you go from here?
Yeah.
And look, I think if this movie had been just a total bomb, like makes $170 million globally, loses a couple $100 million, I believe Disney's new film, Strange World, they're talking about it losing just an incredible amount of money. I think if that happens, you know, you're probably not talking sequel. I think
but to be clear, that's not the case that is happening here.
Right.
And I think where you're going is that there is very much the possibility that there could be a Black Adam 2 and maybe even some spinoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think a sequel is possible. I think sort of a worst case scenario, if Warner Brothers is just not thrilled with the money, you'll see these characters pop up in other DC films. That's what I assume. You're gonna have to ask James Gunn. But no, I think if it turns a small profit, the possibility for a sequel exists. I mean, go back. Batman Begins, 2005, I think it was. That movie made less money than Black Adam.
Well
got
done.
A sequel. Now, I think and its sequel made $1 billion.
Yep.
You know, it also helped that movie, like the fans really liked that movie. The critics liked that movie. I think it was an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's a lot higher than 39 that Black Adam has. But I think there is hope.
I think people forget that the early Marvel movies did not make billions.
They did
They
not.
did not make billions. I think the first Incredible Hulk made less money than Black Adam.
Oh, much less.
I think the first Iron Man may have made less money.
It made more, but
Did it make more? Okay.
yeah, it did.
Don't,
But you know,
hey,
when you get into that, I wanted to
let's
see.
not let facts get in the way of me telling a good story. Okay.
I'm sorry, Reggie, my bad. So
but my point here is that I think people forget
they do.
that in the early days, these movies were not billion-dollar movies.
They weren't.
To his point, to The Rock's point, these movies
Yeah.
had time to grow and to
did.
germinate and to get better
Mhm.
without as much scrutiny. The problem is DC movies automatically get compared to Marvel movies, which
Yeah.
is not necessarily fair. But I cut
Right.
you off. My apologies.
Oh, no. I mean, I was curious about some of those early Marvel films. Iron Man came out in 2008. I think it made 600 million, which is a lot of money, especially in 2008.
Yeah.
That wasn't Dark Knight money in 2008, which was $1 billion. But I went back and I wanted to see when some of the other films are coming out. In 2011, 3 years later, Thor made under 450 million, and Captain America: First Avenger made 370 million. And you know where those movies were in the worldwide gross? Thor was number 15, and Captain America was number 18. Like, we don't think about Marvel movies not cracking the top 5 or even being number 1 now.
Yeah.
I mean, Rio made more money. Rise of the Planet of the Apes made more money. Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Like, Marvel was
Not there.
doing well, but it was not what it is now.
Everybody remembers Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
That's their mind. No,
Mhm.
these movies were not billion-dollar movies. They
No.
were not. And so
No.
I think the thing is did the movie meet expectations? No, it did
No.
not.
No.
But it did not bomb. And I think the
Yeah.
key from this headline is theatrical run. I think
Right.
that that's the key that they put in there, because to
Yeah.
your point, when you do the real math, like you
Mhm.
found on Dateline,
Yeah.
the numbers actually look a whole lot better than if you just look at the box office. And I
Right.
think a lot of movies that come out, actually, a lot of them lose money to break even. They don't make massive amounts of money. We're talking about the vast majority of movies
Make
that
it
are
on
out
the
there.
back end.
Yeah, they make it on the back. There you go. So
Yeah.
anyway, no, I absolutely appreciate you bringing some facts in.
Yeah.
If there is a spinoff, not a
Mhm.
sequel to Black Adam, right? We
Right.
think that could happen. If there
Sure.
is a spinoff,
Mhm.
who would you like to see spun off from the Black Adam to get maybe their own movie or TV
Right.
show or whatever it happens to be?
Well, I'd like to see more of the JSA. I want to see more Hawkman. I want to see more of the other characters. I don't want to get into too much because there's one character you could maybe or may not see depending on how things played out for them in Black Adam. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's worth seeing, and I think it's supposed to be on HBO Max in a couple weeks, possibly. Nothing's been confirmed, but I'm sort of hearing that. And also, not to sound like a total DC Black Adam homer, I am going to point out that Marvel generally got better reviews on a lot of those earlier movies, and nobody at Marvel was coming out explaining how they were going to be profitable on the back end. You know, they did better. That's not a question. But I would like to see some more of the Justice Society of America. I think they're a cool team. Hawkman was great. Dr. Fate was great, as were the other characters. So more of them, please.
There we go. There we go. All right. So time will tell. Again, thank you for doing that research. That is awesome.
definitely.
I'm going to have to go find that Dateline article probably in my DMs, because I think that that's one of the ones that
me.
you sent me that I did not read.
Yeah.
But I
Great.
absolutely appreciate you finding that. Thank you for coming on to give us a little bit of perspective. It is always good to see you, my friend. Where can people find
to
you on
see
the
you
social
too.
media if they want to track you down?
Yeah, it's always good to see you too, Reggie. They can find me on Instagram and YouTube, Action Figure Comedy. And actually, if they go check out Anachronic Comics, I'm on a show with Pretty Fly and Anachronic Joe called DC Watch. So
There we go. Dave, it's
man,
good to see you, my friend. Take care.
you too. Happy holidays, everyone.
There we go. All right. Again, I love when people come on the show and they bring wonderful tidbits of information that the host doesn't have time to always look up because he's at flag football practice. So shout out to Dave for bringing some facts in. I absolutely appreciate it. There is one other thing that I wanted to chat with you guys about ever so quickly. Jim Starlin, who I absolutely love as a writer. This guy captivated me. He captivated my mind back in high school or junior high when I was reading a lot of his cosmic adventure stuff related to Thanos. And this was an article that popped up. I'm not going to read through the whole article, but there's some good news out there that Jim Starlin's cosmic space opera is going to be made into a TV series, Dreadstar. And I actually went hunting in the 100K collection several months ago, maybe even a year ago, for a lot of these appearances of these characters associated with Dreadstar. I actually read many of them, but it appears that potentially they're going to be turning this thing into some kind of TV show. Jim Starlin basically said he didn't want a movie. He wanted it to be a TV series because they have a lot to say, a lot of things to unveil. This was a project that I think was in the works back in 2015, but one of the producers actually died. And so the project died with the passing of this producer. But now things are back, and again, they may be developing this thing into a TV series. It's just kind of cool to see one of these older creators still doing his thing, still chasing the dream, still trying to make magic happen. Jim is a fantastic writer. He's also a solid artist that damaged his hand back in the day, but I think he's even drawing now a little bit. But again, just a really cool article that I wanted to at least share with you guys that potentially we're going to get some Dreadstar. I don't know how good it's going to be, I'll be honest with you, but I think it's kind of cool that they're at least headed down a path to make some magic happen. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you guys. All right, let me go back to the chat real quick. Scrolling through. Congrats. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. So there were a couple of comments that were, comments and questions that were sent over to me on the Instagram machine that I wanted to address ever so briefly. One of the questions that came in from somebody, let me see if I can find him here real quick. One of the questions that came in was around Christmas. They said, if you celebrate Christmas, what is your favorite Christmas movie? I'll be completely honest with you, I cannot think of a single Christmas movie other than like the Charlie Brown Christmas. Like that's the only Christmas movie that comes to mind. I mean, that, Home Alone, no, that's not my jam. If you have a favorite Christmas movie, that you watch every single year, put it up in the comment section. I'm not a huge Christmas movie watcher, as you've already heard. But if you watch Christmas movies, throw it up in the chat. Let me know what it is you guys check out. One of the other questions that I'll address now is, what specific characters would you like to see James Gunn focus on in the next wave? You all have seen this. James Gunn has been hinting at all types of projects, all Kingdom Come, Lobo. He's been putting up all kinds of super cryptic posts, and when he joins a social media platform, he uses one logo. I mean, it's been really interesting to see him playing the game of getting people talking about what he is doing in an interesting and fun way, right? Who the heck knows what James Gunn and Peter Safran are ultimately going to do. But I did make a note here of a couple of characters that I would like to see. Black Manta. I loved Black Manta in the Aquaman movie. And as a result of seeing Black Manta in Aquaman, I started reading Aquaman comics. And I kind of sort of enjoyed them. I went back and picked up a couple of his early appearances. And then I started reading, like I said, the Black Manta comic that was coming out. And I enjoy it. And so I'd like to see some more Black Manta. I would definitely, absolutely love to see the whole Batman universe be blown out. And I think Matt Reeves is working on that. Batman is just he's a classic character. There's no doubt about that. So give me all the Batman stuff that you can see back there. None of this Joker opera stuff. I don't want to see an opera or, whatever. I want to see the Joker being the Joker, right? I think that would be cool. But again, I'm all for the whole Batman universe. I am intrigued by Dr. Fate. And maybe I'm intrigued by Dr. Fate because I've seen Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and I've read a couple of Dr. Fate comics. I'm intrigued by Dr. Fate. It's one of the characters that I would like to learn more about as a character and maybe even see on the screen. And then another one, of course, is just anything Green Lantern. I have an affinity for Green Lantern that I can't really explain, but I don't really enjoy Green Lantern comics. I find the comics not to be that compelling, but I'm intrigued by the idea of a cosmic police force, and they're already working on some of this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see them build out the Green Lantern world, if you will, because I think it could be really cool. I rather enjoyed the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I like Ryan Reynolds. I thought it was a fun, well, not a good movie, but I thought it was a fun movie. I'd like to see more Green Lantern. And I'll be completely honest. Peacemaker grew on me. And I would definitely like to see some more Peacemaker. That's why part of the reason why I put the Vigilante book up there. Vigilante is hilarious. So bring that on. Let's see more of that stuff. There you go. All right. So I wanted to make sure that Dr. Fate is good. Buy Booster Gold. I did read some Booster Gold. I received an AOK of Booster Gold issue number 1 from Wayne, and I spent some time reading some Booster Gold comics. I need to read some more Booster Gold. I would agree with that. That was a pretty interesting character. And Joe, definitely, if you have some recommendations for some story arcs to check out related to Booster Gold, I am all ears. Same thing with Dr. Fate. I am all ears with some of this stuff. Let me see. I would love to hear a Guardian at a space cop meeting. Let me scroll through. Let me see. According to Hollywood Reporter, sounds like Jenkins and John's script was rejected. I'm not sure what that's related to. I might need some additional details on that one. There you go. Spine Ticks. Peacemaker HBO Max is great. It was a great series. It took me a little bit to get into it, to be honest. But once I got into it, I was like, this is not a bad show at all. It really was not a bad show. I still did not like the intro. I do not enjoy the intro, but I did enjoy Cena as Peacemaker. It was a good show. It was a good show. Scrolling through some of the comments here, I need to see more. I don't know about Kite Man, brother. I don't know about that one. Let me see. What is that? Isn't Booster Gold's origin story basically Back to the Future, says Doug? Booster Gold series may be good. Quantum Leap-esque series, says Philtastic. That's what's up. The intro is indeed. It is indeed. No, Dave. Trev is spot on. That intro is ungood. It is cringe-worthy, sir. I am not a fan of that intro, but the show I definitely enjoy, no doubt about it. And again, if you guys have recommendations, for Booster Golds, for Dr. Fate, I would be all ears on those two. A lot of people were talking about Mr. Negative and Hobgoblin and Rhino. Any story arcs involving those 5 characters, I would be interested in. You can post them up here in the comment section once this video goes live, not in the chat, in the comment section, or shoot me a message on Instagram. I would definitely be interested in that. I am not touching that one. Anyway, I like some Spectre. I've read some stuff, man. I've gone into the DC waters. I don't talk about it a lot, but I have gone into those waters. Anyway, with that said, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Shout out to both of my guests for coming on to help me to make sense of some things that are happening in the world of comics and collectibles. Each one of them did a fantastic job, and I'm very appreciative of them. If you need to reach out to me for any reason, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
My body ate itself until it found its passion. They got fat while we starved, but it's power in fasting. Until I turn to ashes, I remain stoic through my rap heroics. I painted 10,000 poems, Then I drank the potion of poetry and motion. I started choking, it was potent. My throat chakra downloaded. Knowledge hungry, I was embarrassed I could ask my parents for money when I had a full tummy. So I asked for wisdom, better than crypto, sweeter than honey. I don't take it for granted, I don't wear capes and masks.